All right. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Angela Kiesenbing with Angela Grace Events, and we believe every day is a reason to celebrate, even during the season that we're having right now. Um, Little one wants to say hi. All right. See you later. That's what happens when you are at home quarantine, like quarantine style, right? So
Right.
I am joined by one of my dearest friends and fellow entrepreneurs, Amanda Dahl from Dahl Holistic Health. And I'm so excited because today we're going to later tonight, today's Wednesday, March 25th, right?
Yes.
And she's going to be hosting an event, and it's called Energy Healing for Everyone. And today we're going to learn more about that. We're going to talk about her business, and we're going through the series where we're going to be talking to a lot of different entrepreneurs about how this season, if you will, is affecting all of our businesses. Um, what are we learning? What are the challenges we're going through? And then how we can just, look forward and move forward to the future. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking to you, Amanda. Thank you so much for
Sure.
being here. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, so let's go ahead and start talking about your business. Tell us what it is that you do and your full
Mommy,
title. Um,
Mommy,
yes,
can I watch?
yes, over there. Okay, I'm sorry.
Um,
Go ahead.
that's okay. So my name is Amanda Dahl, and my husband Christopher and I have a business called Dahl Holistic Health. We do energy healing, which encompasses Reiki and biomagnetic therapy. We also do soul coaching for people that need help moving forward once they've done their healing and they're trying to move into a new phase of their life. And I also offer health coaching. I started working with people in 2013 um, with health coaching because my whole family was diagnosed with a chronic illness. And I was the one that kind of took charge and started researching our illness and started trying to find ways to heal us. So I began consulting for other people that had the same illness that we did because we're kind of a hidden community out there of people that suffer from different chronic illnesses. So I was helping a lot of people and kind of built my network that way. And along this journey, I was introduced to energy healing because I had a massage therapist that came to my home and she gave me a massage, but I was seeing colors and I was feeling these beautiful waves of warmth going through my body, and it wasn't your typical massage. So I said, what's going on? This isn't your typical massage. And she said, oh gosh, I was giving you a little bit of Reiki at the same time. So then the next step in our journey was that I discovered biomagnetic therapy, which is energy healing, but it works through using magnets. We put
Hmm.
magnets on different parts of the body to break up infection and inflammation, which is it's a very timely therapy right now. And so then I started building my toolbox. I started taking classes for these different modalities, certifications for different things, so that way I could start offering it professionally. And it was about 4 years ago that I started offering Reiki, and then a couple years ago I started offering the biomagnetic therapy.
And let me tell you guys, she's really great at what she does. I've only had a few
Thank
sessions.
you.
Yes, and just talking to you, you just give off so much positive energy, and I feel it right here.
Oh,
And we actually co-hosted an event last year. It was Reiki
mhm,
and meditation, and we had some
mhm,
really interesting experiences there because it was a group of moms. And it's just so much
mhm.
fun. I really recommend that if you haven't tried it, you definitely try it and give Amanda a call.
Okay,
um,
thank you.
yeah, and I love that you have a story that's really tied to what it is that you do. It's very important. Um, and I'm glad that you found something that is, supportive of you and your situation. And then you just kind of had um, the drive and the passion to start helping other people through what it is that
Absolutely.
helped you. So
Yes.
That's awesome. And that's how you got started. And how long have you guys been
Mhm.
in business now?
Well, officially for almost 5 years. But I was doing health coaching for people before that, kind of on the down low. But
Yeah.
because there's just so many people that need help, and when you have different chronic illnesses, sometimes you need somebody who understands the medical side of things, and helping people to figure out which treatments would work. So that part started in about 2013, and it was just a couple of years later that we started with the energy healing piece.
Okay. And can you explain Reiki a little bit and the biomagnetic, just
Sure,
really briefly, so for those of us who don't know what it is?
absolutely. So everybody has a physical body, and like if you've ever been, let's say you're at the grocery store in the old days, pre-quarantine, when you go to the grocery store, you know how sometimes maybe somebody's standing a little bit too close behind you in line, and you can feel that they're there, and you feel like you need to step forward. Well, that is subtle energy. That's somebody else's energy kind of bumping into your energy. That subtle energy encompasses your physical body. And then there's also the energy centers of the body. Some people know them as chakras. And that is how the energy goes through the body. So your aura is on the outside of your body, and that's where we kind of store energy. And then the chakras are where energy moves. So when we're working with Reiki and with biomagnetic therapy, what we're doing is we're influencing those energies by adding energy in. So as a practitioner, let's say I'm doing a Reiki session on somebody, I'm using my hands, or I can also do this remotely. I'm a Reiki master, so I'm trained to heal people remotely. um, what I do is I use that energy to kind of push it into an area that maybe there's a blockage, maybe the energy is stagnant, maybe you feel depleted, right? A lot of moms, sometimes they feel depleted because they're giving everything to their families and to their children, and we always take care of ourselves last. So sometimes we need to have our tank filled. So we do that primarily with Reiki. Reiki is really great for helping with emotional wellness in the body. And practitioners of different energy medicines can detect when the energy is too much, when it's not enough. Sometimes there's a blockage, sometimes there's trauma that needs to be cleared. And with Reiki, we can do that. Now, the difference with biomagnetic therapy and why I love the two, they're so complementary, is biomagnetic therapy. I use that some of those same energy sensing tools, but sometimes there's an infection in the body, or maybe there's inflammation in the body. So an infection could be bacterial, viral. You could have parasites. You could have a fungal infection. And again, inflammation, from pain, maybe, you have an injury, there's a lot of inflammation. With energy sensing, I can detect the meridian of the energy meridian in the body that's being affected, put a magnet on each end, and then that actually neutralizes whatever that infection is or the inflammation to neutralize the pH. Because, when our body is sick, we're either too acidic or too alkaline. So the magnets will actually bring the body into a balanced pH and make it inhospitable for all of those things that are trying to live and breathe in our body. So I always tell people Reiki is perfect for the emotional things. It can help with the physical things, right? Because if the emotions are driving a physical pain, it can help with that. But it's really best for the emotional things. Now, magnets is the other way. Magnets are really best for all of those physical things. It can help with the emotional things a little bit, but it's really better for the physical things. So, the two of them together, wonderful tools. And I that's why I chose to learn both of those modalities, because they're complementary, and there's not a lot that I can't help between the two of them.
Right. And no, that's awesome. I mean, it's really interesting how they all come together. And I like how you said they're very complementary to each other because, I mean,
Yes,
if in order for us to be in line or like, I guess, whole in our body and our
right.
mind, those two things have to be aligned. And so, um, I mean, I'm sure like it's very helpful for people with chronic illness. And I know, like you said, that there's blockages and um,
Right.
it's just so interesting. And I've seen this happen like for the first time when we had that session. It's just very interesting. I haven't gone in for my session yet. Well, after all of this is done, I will. But I like how you mentioned that you could do it remotely. That's very interesting. Um,
Yes.
is there anything that you can speak of on how that how that works?
Yes, I know it's a really it's a concept that's really hard to wrap our heads around, right? But it's actually all based in physics. If you're kind of a science nerd like I am, one thing that's really important for me for energy work is it's always been important for me to understand scientifically why this stuff works, because we've all seen those websites that are trying to debunk these sorts of modalities, but we all know that emotional wellness is just important as physical wellness, right?
Right.
So how this works with it all comes off of quantum physics. So here's a very quick, short science lesson. So when we were in school, when we were kids, right, we all had to study an atom. So it had the nucleus and the protons, the electrons, and they were, and everything was spinning around. It almost looked like a mini solar system. Now, way back when I was studying that stuff, they were just starting to understand that in between all of those parts of a molecule, they didn't know what was there, but it's actually that dark matter. If you've ever heard of dark matter,
Right.
those are the things that it's so incredibly small. I mean, you absolutely can't see it with the naked eye. You have to have really special equipment to be able to see that energy. But it's there. And what they've discovered is that, we always say we're all connected. We really truly are connected, because in the air, the reason why you can feel when you move your hand back and forth, you can feel the breeze on your hand is because these molecules are in the air. So if I push energy, towards somebody with the intention of it reaching out to somebody else, I'm creating that ripple in the quantum energy field. See, science in the quantum energy field, and I can actually have it reach out and tune in to somebody else so that it can help them to heal. And I mean, science is starting to prove that this really works. It's all based off of intention and directing that energy to where it needs to go. I have clients all over the United States, and I have a couple in like outside of here. I've done work on people in Australia, Canada, and Wales. I have,
That's awesome.
yeah, and it's amazing for some of the experiences that people have. I not to toot my own horn, but people have written reviews. If people want to
Yeah.
like read some stories about this stuff, we have some pretty amazing reviews that have been written about people's experiences with distance energy work. So it's really,
Yeah, please send me those links and I'll share it too
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
for
description.
sure.
So it sounds like you can pretty much take your business from, because you did have a physical kind of office,
Hmm.
clinic, what would, if you will, right?
Yeah, we have a healing center. We're actually
Healing
in the
center.
process of moving to a new location, but we
Yes.
have a physical healing center, and we also have several clients that we work with remotely.
Right. Okay. So now my question is addressing the
Sure.
big, or not so big elephant in the room anymore, but the season, I keep calling it the season that we're in.
Yes. Yes. It is a
You,
season.
yes, because it's going to pass.
It
Um,
will. Hang in there,
exactly.
everybody. It
Yes,
will
hang in there. But thank you so much for sharing what you do, and I can tell that you're very passionate about it, and I know that you've helped so many people through your work. So thank you so much for that. Um,
Thank you.
so now I want to know, how has this all affected you? I know that a lot of we are now quarantined, so if you're watching this at a later date,
Right.
you realize that we are all at home. We're quarantined. We're ordered to stay home, and just make sure that we're not spreading this virus to other people, to not harm or bring it back to our homes, right?
Right.
So how has this current situation affected you both personally and professionally? Because I know, like you said, you have a compromised immune system, but you're also an entrepreneur. And how is this all unraveling for you?
Right. Well, it's been very interesting because we had a physical space that the lease is up at the end of this month, like right now. So for people watching in the future, right now it is March 25th of 2020. Our lease is due to expire on March 31st. So we actually made the decision, because we're entrepreneurial and because we're kind of go with the flow people. We decided to let our physical space go, so that we didn't have to carry the overhead of our space during this time. So we've already got leads on several places. So when this is all over, we're going to jump back into the physical world, if you will. But as far as needing to pivot, we have always had an online side to our business where, we work with people remotely, we work with people around the world. I think that the challenge right now has been for the people that maybe they don't know what we do or understand what we do. It's very hard for people to, and I would have been the same way, to wrap my head around, gee, how can you do that business online? So doing, online events, which if you need to learn more about doing an online event, Angela has a wonderful presentation that she did yesterday on Facebook Live
Thank you
to
for
talk about how to do that. But just doing online events, reaching out to the clients that you already have. This is a great time to stay in contact, not drive them crazy with a million emails. But this is a time where a lot of people are at home and people are seeking connection. So don't be afraid to send a text to a client and say, hey, do you have a few minutes to catch up by phone or catch up online? This is a time to really foster the connections that you have, and just let people know, that you're here, both from a professional standpoint, but also from a heart-centered, I care about you standpoint. I think that that's something that's, really, uh, sometimes as an entrepreneur, people get nervous because, sometimes you get in a mode where you're always thinking about how you can implement different things in your business.
Right, right.
So right now there's a pivot going on where people are trying to find that balance of, staying true to their business, but also making sure that they're serving people. So I think that's been interesting, not so much for us, but for the rest of the world as they're making that pivot to understanding a virtual life like we have right now.
Right.
And just trying to get everybody to catch up and say, it is okay. There are a lot of things that businesses can do virtually to keep things afloat, if you will.
Exactly. And I appreciate you bringing that up because it's true. I mean, I've even heard some people say, what, instead of, and I don't know how long this is going to last, but, send a card, like a physical
Right.
card, in the mail. I don't know how long the post office is going to last right now, but I mean,
Right.
it's a different kind of disruption, I guess you could say, because we were just talking about this before we got on, that people are getting bombarded with information and emails from, you know, social media, again, emails, text messages, the news, whatever it may be, that it can be overwhelming to just say,
Right.
what do I look at first? What do I really need? And I think it's important for us to really step away and just be like, okay, what am I going to look at right now? But I like the fact that you said that you really want to foster those relationships that you already have,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's like your business partners, your network, and especially your clients, because those are the people that you want to serve. That's your community. And when all of this blows over, they're still going to be there. You're going to want them to be coming,
Right.
running to your door after everything is said and done. So
Right.
I'm really glad that you're able to take your business online and still be able to serve clients in that way because, again, I think what you offer is very unique and very special.
Thank you.
Yes. And then, and you were already homeschooling your
Yes.
son, right?
Yes.
So you had mentioned, I think, in another chat that we had that you have some tips for homeschooling and working from home. Is there anything, like any one or two things that you can share for people who are out there watching
Yeah, sure.
um, along these lines?
Sure. I think, oh, wow. Like, kudos to all the parents that are going through baptism by fire with homeschooling right now, because wow, it's not easy when you're used to, kids going to school, and the kids are used to going to school, and you're used to being an entrepreneur that maybe has time to do those calls during the day, and now you're trying to juggle all sorts of things. I think that one of the things that it's important to remember as a as a veteran homeschool, my child has never been to conventional school. He's always been homeschooled since the beginning. He does have mild autism, so to boot, we also, we're homeschooling special needs. It can be done. I think that my number one tip right now for everybody is to give yourself so much grace.
Yep.
Everybody is trying to figure it out right now, and I think that there's some leeway that is going to go on. I don't know how the schools are doing it in terms of making kids turn in homework and things like that. But it is the homeschool day is typically much shorter than a conventional school day. If you sit down with your kiddos to do the worksheets that they do while they're at school, it takes a fraction of the time, or a lot of times it only takes a fraction of the time. Because you have to remember that a teacher, they're teaching maybe 30 students. So they have a lot of people that they have to help at one time. So don't feel like if your school day isn't taking, 5 or 6 hours like it would at school, and you're finishing everything much faster, that's okay. That's okay. So,
Right.
give yourself lots of grace with that. I think that's probably the number one thing. And take breaks. Like, if the kids are getting antsy, that's the time where, it's time to get up and maybe go for a walk around the block, or maybe it's a snack time. You got to remember, like, blood sugars are going up and down all the time during the day, and sometimes if the blood sugar is starting to tank, that's that feeling of getting hangry.
Oh,
um,
yeah.
and nobody is eating at their normal times right now, so making sure that there's healthy snacks available, decompression time. And, if you are an entrepreneur and maybe you need to take a call, maybe you need to do something, then, if you've got a little one that still naps, then, do it during naps.
Right.
If you've got older kids who maybe they're really active, I find that going to the back of the toy closet is always fun. Bring out something that they haven't played in a really long time. Like, maybe you've got a tween. Take out Play-Doh. It doesn't matter if that's considered a baby toy. Like, sometimes the tween
That's all they
ages,
need.
they like to go back. Sometimes they want to know that it's okay for them to go back and play with that baby
Yes,
stuff. Sometimes, do you agree, Angela? Like,
I agree.
you've got one of your kiddos is getting a little bit older, but bring out some old toys. Sometimes that will occupy them for that 10 minutes that you might need to do a quick call. So I've got tips coming out of my ears. I should probably do a separate call for, like, getting parents through. But my number one tip is to just give yourself grace. You are doing a great job. Nobody knows what they're doing right now.
You
It's
heard it
okay.
right here, guys. Give yourself some
It's
grace.
okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's all okay.
Yeah. We're not going to be damaging our children. This was all unexpected. And I
No.
know it's very frustrating. It's very new. Just be flexible. And if you need you know, I'm not going to lie. I used to homeschool my kids too. And it's very different, because at this
Hmm.
time, they're in a charter school, so they have some flexibility, and I think they're handling things really well. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that it's just we're all here in one space, and it can be a little challenging. So
For
yeah, take those
sure.
breaks, find some me time, whether it's hiding in the bathroom and crying with your coffee.
And and just one more thing to say for all the parents out there. you know your kids better than anybody. So if you feel that your kids need a day to decompress, trust that instinct. You're
Yeah.
their parent. Don't feel like maybe you're not teaching Common Core math. Maybe you're doing it the old fashioned way like I do, carry the one and,
Yes.
the old fashioned way of doing things. That's okay. Like give yourself that grace that, just because you're doing it differently than a teacher might doesn't mean that your way is wrong. Okay. So trust your instincts and just go for it.
Right. Yes. And use the resources that you have. You're doing your
Hmm.
best. So thank you. I know
For
that
sure.
that was kind of a sidebar,
That's
but I
okay.
know that you've had so much experience with that too. I thought you'd add some value there.
Sure.
So yeah, now going into your business, I know it seems like it's been a really smooth transition, but have there been any specific challenges that you have been facing, um, with the move, with not being able to see clients in person? Like, what are some of the things that you're facing right now? And maybe what are some of the things that you're learning from this whole experience?
Sure. I think that, like so many small businesses out there right now, um, the business is gone. I think that when all is said and done in times like this, people are trying to figure out how to navigate this new unprecedented time that we're in. And for my small business, I'm somebody that I work with people's disposable income. So if people are having fears around money and spending, services like mine are something that are for a lot of people are going to have to be put on hold, right?
Right.
Because it's something that um, deals with discretionary income. So that has been a challenge, to just not be seeing my normal amount of clients that I normally see in a week. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge that we're facing, and I'm sure so many other businesses are facing. So what my focus is going to be over especially the next couple of weeks, is just trying to get the education out there about what it is that in my business, what we do, because I think that there are a lot of people right now that are feeling swallowed up with fear, anxiety, and a lot of what I do can help people remove that and give them the tools to, step out of that a little bit. Even the webinar that we're going to be doing tonight, Angela and I are going to be doing tonight, it's going to be all about energy healing for everybody. So it's like a way to come on and understand, you know, how this energy is affecting us and how can we break up some of these barriers. There are a lot of things that we can do from home, and everybody's always, told, well, you meditate. Okay, but what am I looking for when I meditate? What kind of feelings am I looking for when I meditate? So, we're going to talk about things like that tonight. So just
Right.
giving that education to people and that awareness, sometimes just even bringing awareness to the feelings that we're having are enough to help them to subside a little bit.
Okay, I like that, and you really bring up a good point because, I mean, you hear about meditation, and even if it's like prayer or just sitting still, and what I've
Hmm.
learned, and you could tell me if this is, kind of along the lines of what you do, but even I will say that when I would meditate at first, I would think, "Oh, I'm doing it wrong." I keep thinking about other
Hmm.
things, and I've heard people kind of walk through and say, it's okay that you have these thoughts and just like let them float away like a cloud or whatever verbiage that they're
Hmm.
using. But I think sometimes we just get so hard on ourselves that we're like, we're doing it wrong, we don't know what we're doing, and this is silly, and then we just stop. But I like
Right.
that, if you have somebody like you who is guiding the meditation or really teaching us and just bringing that awareness of like it's okay if you're trying to sit down and it doesn't feel right at first. The more that you
Hmm.
do it, the better you'll get at it, the more you'll understand, the more calm you'll feel. um, I think that's important to have somebody. I've learned that there's a coach for everything, and it's important
Yes.
at some point to have a coach for whatever area that you're struggling with. I mean,
Hmm.
I've worked with several myself, and there's that accountability piece. There's, if you don't know how to do something, then find somebody who does and learn from
Right.
them and go from there. So it's,
Absolutely, for sure.
yeah. So
Yep.
yeah, I can only imagine. I know that you've shared some stories, but without saying who people are, just how people come and really look forward to everything that you offer in in person. So I can
Right.
only imagine
Right.
how, people are like really wanting to see you, but they can't. But they can see you online.
Absolutely. And just to share, here's a story of how energy work can work from a distance. I have a client that I normally see her in person every week.
Okay.
And, obviously it hasn't happened right now, but prior to all of this happening, she was having several medical procedures that she was having to have done. And one of the things that I do, for my regular clients is, if they're going through something tough and, I'll tell them like, hey, just let me know what time your appointment is and I'll hold space for you and I'll send you some energy to kind of get you through. And so she was having a procedure done and she had to be awake for this procedure. And so I just imagined that I was sitting behind her with my hands cradling her head because she had to keep her head still for this procedure.
Right.
And I didn't necessarily tell her, hey, I'm going to be holding your head. Like I didn't tell her because sometimes I don't know until I'm in the situation, like where does this person need me to support them?
Right.
So I just visualized her and, I was thinking about the procedure that she was having done. And I just envisioned putting my hands under her head. So she sent me a message after the procedure. This was like in the parking lot on her way, when she was heading home. And she said, I swear that I felt your hands under my head, holding my
Oh,
head the whole time.
oh my
And I
gosh.
was like, oh, because I absolutely was. So it was just one of those examples of how, we can do energy work from a
Right.
distance.
Yeah. I got goosebumps. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't understand how it all works, but I know that it does, and it's just like it's something beautiful, and I can tell that you find joy in supporting
Oh, I
your
love it.
clients and people, and I will say this too, like when we did that round, that Reiki round, I don't know what we want to call it, with the moms, you
Mm-hmm.
feel that energy, like it's
Mm-hmm.
just, and it's all good. And you just
Yeah,
have
for
this
sure.
way of, yeah, bringing it all in. And then with you and your husband together, that was just, I don't know, it was very peaceful. It was very calming. And I brought my mom to that, and she was smiling all the way home. And I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I have nothing but good things to say about you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that was
Thank
just
you.
one
I
experience.
appreciate that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so you have um, you have people that you're still connecting with. And
Mhm.
you did mention, so you talked about like the business, because there's people with disposable income who are like, I'm gonna go no matter what. Nothing's gonna hold me back. Because
Mhm.
I think for something like this, insurance doesn't always cover something like this, right? So people are
Yeah,
pulling out of pocket.
unfortunately, insurance does not cover these services. There are programs out there that they're starting to measure,
Mhm.
energy healing. Like there's a place in Encinitas that energy healers can go in and, if you can change the pH of a glass of water, not touching the glass, but just using your hands, they have equipment that they can measure that. And we went and toured that facility, and
Wow.
it was really neat, some of the things that they have, because I mean, down the road, they're trying to develop tools like that to help energy healing practitioners be able to like prove that they can do what they say they can do. I mean, I didn't do any of the tests, but for me, the proof is just in what my clients experience and what my clients feel. I
Right.
mean, we've shared just a couple of very quick experiences here, but I mean, the powerful experiences happen for so many of our clients.
Right.
So there's a lot that we can accomplish with energy healing, but unfortunately, no coverage through insurance right now.
Right. Okay. And so you can imagine, like, there are some people who really want this service, but they just can't. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes for anything, like um, going to the gym. Maybe you can't afford whatever they're offering online, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
you know you there's a lot of people who are kind of holding back because of that fear. There's a lot of things that people are working through, and a lot of events are being
Right.
canceled, or not canceled, I should say, but postponed.
Postponed.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
planning has been paused, or they're being
Mm-hmm.
moved to online, which is not, which is fine. I think there's a lot of uncertainty, but I think we just need to move forward. And it sounds like you're
Right.
really taking those steps to lean in to the situation and the circumstances and really thriving through it. So um,
Fine. Yeah.
we can survive and thrive in times like this.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to my next question. So you do have the
Okay.
challenges you're facing. You said you're learning how to navigate and connect with your clients through the internet. And then what do you see your business, like how do you see your business evolving after this, and like even thriving even more, like once you find your new
Mm.
space and clients can start coming back in? Um, are you still going to be offering more online programs? I know you guys were
Yeah.
already, but is there a new thing that you're going to maybe expand into or look into? Because I think there's so many different opportunities right now, because we're at home. I
Right.
I was just telling my husband, or my husband and I were talking. We're like, "Where's the time going?" He's like, "I'm at home, but I feel like it's still like the time is going by so fast." And he's working
It
from home
is.
too. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, like what? But there is, for me at least, and I know for a lot of entrepreneurs and just people in general, are coming up with these creative ideas. They're like, oh, what other things can I do, or what's something else that I can learn? And I see that you're really taking on, these different areas with the online. And then we were supposed to have this event today, physically in person, but we decided to flip it and go virtual because actually somebody in the community said, hey, keep this event. We need it.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a good sign. And
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and you were already doing online sessions. But what
Mhm.
other new things are coming out of this for you, and how do you see your business evolving um, past this?
One of the things that we've had some requests for is more like energy healing circles. So we, on top of offering Reiki and biomagnetic therapy, we also are teachers for Reiki. Our official Reiki titles are certified Reiki master practitioner teachers. I know it's a mouthful. But basically, we can both, perform Reiki services for others, and we teach Reiki. So I think one of the things that we're hoping to develop is some online continuing education programs for
Yeah.
people that have learned Reiki. Reiki, by tradition, is something that, if you've ever taken martial arts, Reiki is a Japanese healing modality, so it's very much centered on what your lineage is and working from master to student. So, while I don't know that we would necessarily teach Reiki classes online because in Reiki world, that's pretty frowned upon. I'd like to develop continuing education programs for people that know Reiki, but maybe they need a place to be able to discuss, um, clients that they're working with that maybe they're stuck and maybe they need help with skills to be able to see a client. I know that a lot of newer Reiki practitioners that aren't necessarily Reiki masters, sometimes they need that guidance. So I'm thinking of putting together something like that for people out there, even, if they didn't do their Reiki program through us, just being able to continue that education. For people that maybe they have no interest in learning Reiki at all, I still would like to have educational programs out there for them so that at least they can understand the energy system of the body. Because so many times when I'm working with a client, I have several physicians that refer to me, and the physicians understand, like, there comes a point sometimes where people have done and tried everything as far as physical healing. They've done physical therapy, they've taken the medicines, they've done the treatments, but they're still not getting any better. They've hit a plateau. And what these physicians will do is they'll say, you need to go see Amanda or Chris, whichever of this they want to work with, but you need to go and see Amanda and, through and do that detection through their energy system and say, okay, I'm sensing that there was a trauma here, or there was an injury here, or there's an energy blockage. And then, they don't have to tell me what it is. That's the
Right.
beautiful thing. I tell people I am talk therapy without the talking. So I can go in and just remove that blockage from them. And then all of a sudden, those medications that they were taking that weren't working before, all of a sudden they're working. Or that pain that they've had in their lower back or in their shoulder, all of a
Yeah.
sudden that pain has lessened. And, just to improve their quality of life. So, I like to put together, and that's part of what tonight's program is going to help people understand that there is a physical and emotional component to healing. So if
Right.
you're not getting any further with one, it could be because you got to work on the other. And usually we've all done all the physical things we can. Usually it's that more energetic and emotional piece that needs help. So I want to put together programs to help people
Yes.
with that.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so just to kind of give you guys a background, it was originally energy healing for entrepreneurs. And then after all of this
Mhm.
happened, it's energy healing for everyone because we all need to
Everyone.
be healed. I mean, all the time, but our focus at first was for entrepreneurs because we go through so much,
Mhm.
especially, I mean, especially if you're a mompreneur, because
Right.
we've got so many things going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's so important. But I really appreciate that you're offering this and we are opening it to everyone because
Mhm.
I mean we all need it right now and more than ever.
Right.
Even if it wasn't happening, then we would still need it. I think it's always a great thing to add. Um, and I love that you want to start educating more people and spreading your
Mhm.
message because, I mean, it's worked for you. It's worked for several of your clients, and you've seen them come with results. And that was what I was telling my husband. I was like, yeah, I'm talking to Amanda. And like, because it's fairly new that you learned about the Lyme disease, right? Like, it wasn't something that you learned about when you were a child, was it? Was it something that you learned about?
No, I mean, my husband and I were sick for 18 years
Yeah.
before we got a proper diagnosis. And it was only because my son was diagnosed
Mm,
and that we started working with a naturopath because we weren't really getting very far with conventional medicine.
right.
And a naturopath said, well, how have your health been? And looked at my husband and I, and, I just, tears came to my eyes because it was like it clicked right away, like, oh, okay, I see. So
Yeah.
that was a big challenge, but
Right.
I'm the type of person that I'm not going to let it keep me down. I think that when you have a chronic illness, a debilitating disease, I think that so much of the healing comes from the attitude.
Oh, yeah.
If we let our illness become our identity, we're going to lose the battle, because we're not going to know how to function outside of that identity anymore. And so
Right.
I didn't let it become my identity. It was just like right now, and the times that we're in right now are temporary. That season of my life where I was really sick and my whole family was really sick, I knew that if we just kept on plugging along and doing what we were supposed to do, we were going to get into remission, and thankfully we are in remission. But I'm
Nice.
also the type of person that just because the fire is put out in my house doesn't mean that I'm going to ignore the fact that my neighbor's house is on fire, so it's like
Right.
I jumped right back in. I was like, no, there are too many people that need to understand that they're not getting better because there are other forces at play here. This isn't just having Lyme disease. This is having Lyme disease, but also, you know, working through a trauma or pain that happened outside of the Lyme disease. Like, it keeps us sick when we've got all of these things to work on. So I just,
Right.
I
And
made it
there's
my mission to help people heal from all of it.
Yes. Yes, and there's always something to work on. If there's anything that I've learned,
Absolutely.
the journey is you never arrive.
No,
There's
no.
always something that can be worked on because there's always something deep down that you just might have suppressed or forgot about consciously, and then
right.
things get triggered and you're just like, whoa, where did that come from? Well, if you don't know, go see
Absolutely.
Amanda.
Well, and thank you. And that's the thing, is like we have all, every single human being has had something really bad happen to us. But it is possible to heal, and it
Mhm.
is possible, forgiveness and healing and
Yeah,
working through that. You don't have to carry that with you for the rest of your life. Like, we don't have to continue to suffer in order to take from the experience the lesson. And
exactly.
we can put the trauma of it aside. And I'm not saying that it's easy, and
Mm,
I'm not saying that it isn't going to take some work. But
right,
we even have a couple of therapists that send clients to us, because from a therapy standpoint, they know that that client has something that they're not saying, and they know that they can send their client to us. We can go in there and see, like, the summer of Me Too was, wow. We
yeah,
helped a lot of people with sexual trauma. They didn't have to say anything. It's something that we could sense, and and we just remove it. And that's the thing, like, with us, there is no judgment, there is no ego. We are not in,
right,
we are not in it for our ego. We are in it to help that person remove that, because by healing them, you know, that might help to break a chain in their life,
right,
you know, something that's been going on in their, maybe there's a generation thing that's been going on in their family, and all of a sudden we've broken that chain. We've helped
yep,
them to heal. They can be that survivor and that thriver for
yes.
whatever that
I
situation
love
was.
that.
So just healing, by healing ourselves, we help to heal the world, right? We're putting that ripple in the pond to heal everybody. And that's, in essence, what energy healing is. Heal ourselves, we heal everybody.
Exactly. I completely 100% believe that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just I got goosebumps right there because
Mm,
you're just
yeah.
it's very important, and you hear like things like, oh, reverse the curse, and how do you do that? You do things like this,
Right.
and it's very fortunate that other practitioners are sending their people to you because they know that it works. They know that it's important.
Right.
They know that your clients are going to get results. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just very powerful. Just if you want more information, just come tonight or check out Amanda online. Do you have anything else that you want to share? Where can we find you? I know
Sure.
we have our event tonight. Can you just talk a little bit about that and where people can find you? Um,
Sure.
maybe what your next step is.
Yeah. So we have our event tonight. Again, it's energy healing for everybody. So, or everyone. So if you want to learn more about how to have some tools that you can use yourself to work on some of these things, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk everybody through the energy system of the body. There's lots of graphics, so you don't have to, memorize things or anything like that. And then we're going to do a guided meditation so that I can give you some tools that I use when I'm actually working on you, to kind of work through some of those things. And then we have a website, which is dahlholistichealth.com, and it's DAHL, holistichealth.com, where you can get information about all of our services. Our full appointment schedule is also listed there under appointments. And then we are also on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel where we have videos that talk about the different services that we offer. We also have a Facebook page where we post, and a Facebook group. So feel free to join either one. I try to put different information in each spot. And then for everybody that wants to do these services, right away we implemented a special code to give you some money off of doing a session. So if you wanted to experience energy work, and it doesn't matter, you can use this coupon code as many times as you want, but it's remote, the word remote 20, and that will take $20 off any session that you choose to have for a remote session with us. How a session works is you just book your appointment time. At your appointment time, I call you. We have a discussion about what I answer any questions that you have. We have a discussion about what it is that you're hoping to accomplish with the session. And then we get off the phone, I do the treatment. And then for most people, they have a cell phone. So I text them after and I say, I'm all done. If you want to have another follow-up call right then, or, if you've fallen asleep, then, we can talk at a later time. Our rates are already, honestly, like if you look around for what people are charging for these kinds of services, we tend to charge a little bit less because we don't offer packages. We don't feel that we want to add pressure to people to have to buy a big package in order to get a good price. So we just offer the good price from the beginning, so that way we're a little bit more affordable and you don't have to worry about trying to use all of these sessions. We take it one session at a time, but remote 20 will get you $20 off any session. We've got availability right now 5 days a week, and pretty good availability right now, truth be told, because it's just everybody's trying to adjust to this new world that we're in. But definitely, follow us on social. Oh, and the other thing is that we give a free consult. So if you have
That's right.
questions about these services, like if this is right for you, or, if you want to know if whatever you have going on is something that we can help you with, definitely reach out to me so that we can do a free consult and talk about what your needs are. The most important thing for my husband and myself when we're working with people is that we want them to feel comfortable. This is very vulnerable work. And
Absolutely.
sometimes things come up that, we don't want people to feel shy or feel embarrassed. Like, you don't have to feel that way with us. Like, what happens in a session, it stays between us. It goes nowhere else. And there's absolutely no judgment. Like, you don't have to worry about any of those sorts of feelings. Like, we've worked with people in all different situations, and we would never judge anybody for what their situation is. We just want people to get the help that they need.
Right. And everything is confidential.
Absolutely.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. We follow full HIPAA.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. And you are on
Thank
Instagram,
you.
you're on Facebook, and then I have here, just sharing my screen. I have the link up. So if you go
Yeah.
to any of I'll put a link below. But this is it. So it's Wednesday today, March 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Energy healing for everyone. It's on via Zoom. So you'll get that link, right when you register.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, break through barriers and create a new vision for yourself using energy work. That doesn't sound amazing. I don't know what does. And then it's all going to be guided through by Amanda, going through all the different energy systems in the body. And I mean, like, just learning about yourself in general and how your body works and how it functions internally, like you said, the aura, but also the emotions, the chakras, like you were saying. I mean, that's just figuring out what the imbalances are, what tools, getting the tools is going to be super helpful, I think, just because, we all need something to ground ourselves during the day. And
Right.
just coming back to center, especially when it's high stress level, like right now, where we're schooling our kids, we're going to work from home,
Right.
we're cooking, like everything's done in our little quarters, and we hardly get to go out. So you know what?
Right.
This is perfect timing for this type of a message, and teaching. And yeah, I hope to see you guys there tonight. I'm gonna stop
For
sharing
sure.
the screen. And then, yeah, thank you so much, Amanda. I really
Thank
appreciate you being
you.
here to answer those questions and sharing your findings, your learnings, your challenges, and then really excited to see you thrive. And I know I said earlier, but I'm really glad that the transition has been pretty smooth for you.
It has. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I look forward to when all of this is done and we can go back to physical living, we can go back to planning in-person events together again.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
yeah, well, we see you guys tonight. And then if you would like to follow myself, I'm Angela Grace Events on Facebook, and on Instagram. You can join our Facebook group. It's called Event Planning for Entrepreneurs. And there you'll find a whole bunch of information, some more conversations about how to plan events for your business, both online, and offline.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. And remember to make every day a reason to celebrate. Thank you, Amanda, again.
Thank you. Thanks, Angela.